The Memento design pattern provides us with a solution for the following problem: how to allow us to maintain the state of a given object in a file or in any other mechanism in a way that will enable us to take an object, either the same object or another object, and change its state to be the same state that was kept saved to a file, for example. The solution would be to define a class that each object instantiated from it represents a specific state. In this code sample, a specific state of an object that was instantiated from the class car. Then, in class car, we should define two methods: getMemento and setMemento. GetMemento returns a reference for a memento object that represents the state of a car object, that very specific car object on which the getMemento was invoked. SetMemento should be a method that receives a reference for a memento object and changes the state of the car object on which it was invoked in order to be the same state the memento object represents. Doing so, we can define another class that will be capable of taking a memento object with an ID, so it will be kind of a key value pair, and save the memento object to a file or another storage mechanism. In addition, if we define a method kind of such as the getMemento, a method that receives an ID, a key for a specific memento object, and returns that memento object, having that, we will be able to create an object and change its state to be a very specific state, and then once getting a memento object that represents the state of that specific car object, calling addMemento, we can actually save the memento object, or in other words, save the state of that object we are working with, in this case to a file. So later we will be able to get that memento object back from the file, for example, and set the state it represents in a given object. It can be the same object, it can be another object, as in this case sample. Bottom line, we can use the Memento design pattern for keeping state of a given object. We can use it, for example, for improving the performance of our web application. So in the case of heavy objects that it takes time to build them, we can, instead of building again and again, just keep the state of the object to a file and use that state for every request that arrives, as long as the state is correct, of course. Let's execute this code sample. This is the output.